you being part of like this big game, and
Mhm.
with that, speaking of like bigger games and all that, you get to play a bigger character, Marisa, in Street Fighter 6.
Marisa, Street Fighter 6. Yes,
uh,
I love her so much.
she's like one of the top characters that people are playing in the game, which is
I
insane.
know. It's so cool.
Like,
It's so wonderful. Like, I know when she first leaked, there was like a lot of like a
yeah,
huge art leak.
yeah,
This time last year, wasn't it? And people were like, "Oh, like that's weird. I don't know. That hair looks stupid." And then they actually showed her off properly for the
yeah.
first time, and everyone's like, "Oh no, she's the coolest." And every single bit of lore drop since then with her, everyone is like, "Oh no, she's cool." Amidst all the, of course, the "step on me, mommy"
Oh yeah, of
um,
course that's gonna
thing,
happen.
which I mean, have you seen her? She's 6'8".
She is, yeah.
Um, she is 6'8", and I think she weighs like 260 pounds or something like
I
that.
think
280
so. I'm
pounds.
forgetting how much she
Something.
weighs, but yeah, she's big.
I she's a big, strong Italian woman.
Yeah.
So she's so wonderful, and we had so much fun with her in the booth. She's great. And I'm so flattered. I think someone just won a tournament this weekend as
Yeah.
Marisa, and I was like, that's cool as hell.
But like, yeah,
Yeah.
Marissa has been, as I said, like
Oh,
people love it, people want to get stepped by it. But
oh
it's
yeah.
it's amazing, like that people have been playing that character so much, and it's something that I never expected. That, oh wow, this is a very different character, very interesting, and
Mhm.
you get to do all these lines. So do you remember, or do you have like any favorite lines that you remember of, like as voicing Marissa? What would be your favorite lines if you had any?
Oh boy. Well, I remember saying Gladius and like having to go really quickly on it because it was like a really like Gladius. Like
Mm,
it had to be like a very fast one because it was just like it's just like a kind of a forward strike.
yeah, yeah.
So that one was a little stressful getting it in time. I was just like, does it sound good? Does it sound okay? Like, oh, what are we doing? Honestly, it was like I remember the first time we did it was specifically the critical art where she does the it's as a part because it's like it's kind of like a multi-stage
Yeah.
thing where like it may start with one thing and then it ends with another, but in the critical art that's when
Hmm.
she does take all of it and does the
Yeah.
this and the character is left with all like a heart on their face. I was like, that is so cool. And it's like, take my love, take all of it. And I was like, I had so much fun with that line.
Take my love! Take all of it! Convinced yet?
That's kind of the cool core of her character is this like love of and passion that she has for everything, and I do feel like that is like so cool.
Yeah.
The other one that I like was and I just like I didn't necessarily know because when you're recording the lines you don't always know like the context of it, like what it's going to look like from an animation standpoint. There were certain things that had to be timed to animation, like I said,
Hmm.
like the art and everything. Other things were just like I would hear a Japanese reference, match it, hear a Japanese reference, match it, and we'd do a few, and then they'd pause and they'd listen back to a few and go, okay, let's listen to this one. Because actually, this is one thing I love about Street Fighter. They're super accessible and they want to make sure that all of the sounds are distinct so that people who are hard of sight um, can hear the game
Yeah.
and know what's going on. And it's like a series of distinct sounds. So every way that she gets hit feels distinct.
Hmm.
Every way attack that she does is distinct so that they know exactly what she's doing and what the other character is doing. It's really, really
Wow.
cool and I love it. But the one that I didn't know was going to be great was the "Where are you going?" when she just like grabs them and goes
Yeah.
down. I just when I saw how that one was used and I saw that animation, I was like, "Oh, that's sick. That's sick."
Where are you going? Sweet dreams!
I think the first things that we recorded were the story mode stuff,
Hmm. Yeah.
and like the introduction in world mode,
Hmm.
and then the and all of that. So we did all the story stuff first, and then the later sessions were fighting.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was just a lot. It was,
You know, Street Fighter is a game, it's a franchise itself, which is like been going on for so long. And there's like people love this game so much. So what was your reaction like when you got to know, oh, this is Street Fighter? I'm in Street, what? Like, what was the reaction? Was there something like, oh, so cool?
I
Or
could tell they wouldn't tell me what I was auditioning for.
Of course.
So when I got the audition, it didn't say that it was for Street Fighter, and then I had to do a callback. And because it was, and this is, I told the story on Alex's stream, but I kind of went easy with the exerts and the fighting sounds in my audition because, like, because the direction was that they didn't want her to be unfeminine. So I was like, oh, maybe if she's really big and really strong, maybe all of the fighting sounds are effortless for her. She's so big and strong that she doesn't have to sound like she's working so hard. And as you know, that's not the direction they went in and the direction they wanted. So we get an email from Jonathan Klein, who is the VO director for the game. And he was like, hey, clients loved the lines, but they weren't sold on the exerts. Here's the Japanese reference of what she sounds like.
Oh.
Can we get on a Skype call and do that? And I was like, oh, okay, yeah, like, oh, that's what you want. And when we were on the call, I was like, this is Street Fighter 6, isn't it? And Jonathan's like, I can't say what this is. And I was like, I know what this is, Street Fighter 6. So when I got cast, oh my God, I knew I was really close. I knew I was probably like their top pick, but that's why they had to check. And so I was anxious for the longest time. And I was like telling my agents, like, can you follow up? Can you see whether or not this is happening? And then I get like, I don't know if it was like an email or a phone call where they're just like, Street Fighter. And I was like, yay, we did it. We got it. Actually, I think they didn't specifically say it's Street Fighter until I got into the booth.
Oh, wow.
But at least finding out, it's just like, you booked this character. I was just like, oh man, I'm going to be a Street Fighter playable character. It's so cool. Go in, have my first session, waited 3 months for my second session. So I was like, they replaced me. They replaced me. That's it. Turns out they just didn't have they weren't ready to do the rest of everything, but they at least wanted to do the cutscenes and the story mode and all that stuff. But I was so anxious and I wanted the gig so badly. And I try so hard to not covet things, because when you covet and you get like really like, I want this, you can get disappointed. So I was trying not to covet, but that one I coveted. I coveted it. Yeah. When it's something French or Italian and they're looking for something kind of authentic, I'm just like, all right, come on, guys. Like, I feel like I'm in a pretty good pocket for this. So just please.
Just take me.
Like, please pick me. I want to do it so badly.
There's Marisa, one big character. There's also Zangief, who's also a big character. So like, if there's a fight between the two, who do you think is going to be the winner? I mean, you probably would be biased to choose Marisa.
I'm biased towards me, but technically, and it's interesting, Zangief's story mode ends with him fighting her, and he has to win for it to continue. So I would say that they're pretty evenly matched. I think it's going to depend on the day, who against who. I mean, but that's kind of the thing with Street Fighter. I think they're all really powerful in their own right. So it's just going to kind of depend on the days and the circumstances, or quite literally, who's controlling.
Who's controlling? I was about to say.
Who's at the controller?
Who is
to see what kind of even match. But I know that they have to work so hard as well. And this is, again, purely from a game mechanics standpoint. They have to work so hard to keep the characters balanced. So I think from that meta perspective, I can look at it and go like, they're all evenly matched with each other. It's just a matter of like, maybe one person is a little better against a specific type of character.
Yeah.
you know, they're all good in their own right. Maybe someone might be a little better against a specific person, but
Yeah.
again, it all depends on who's at the controller.
Yep, that's the big
All
game.
depends on the controller.
That's the big game. That's true.